Governor-elect, you mentioned that Governor Patterson will be helping you moving forward. Does that mean he's going to play a formal role in your administration?
Well, we're going to be starting first. We're going to have a transition. I'm going to be meeting with the governor this week to start to discuss the transition formally, and that's important that we do that well. You know, this is we can't miss a step here. These are very big problems, and we want to have a seamless transition. And the governor and I will be working on that together. And going forward, you know, it was nice to spend some time with the governor on a personal basis. As I said inside, I've worked with him very closely for the past couple of years as Attorney General. We've been friends for many, many years. But he walked into a very difficult situation, and people need to remember that. And he's worked in public service for many years, and he's made a great contribution. So we were talking about that also.
Were you able to meet while you were both here?
No, but we're going to be meeting literally in the next few days back in New York.
What would you say are your three biggest to-do items between now and January 1st? Three things you definitely want to accomplish between now and then.
Talent, Nick. We did, as the governor was mentioning inside, and as you know better than most, we did an extensive amount of policy work during the campaign. They mock how many books we put out during the campaign, that we thought we were in the publishing business and not the political business. But we did about 8 campaign books. So we've done a lot of policy work. I'm not going to be changing any policy between now and January. We laid out all the policy for the people during the campaign. This is now about finding talent to serve in state government, finding talent to go to quote-unquote Albany, which has not had the best reputation of late, state service. And at the end of the day, any organization is only as good as the talent you attract. I believe that. And we have to attract talent, and we have to attract a diverse talent pool. And that's what we're going to be focusing on, and that's what we were talking about inside.
There's a very real chance that there could be a 31-31 tie in the state Senate. And given what happened in June 2009, we didn't see much work getting done when there was that sort of tie there. How do you plan to overcome that, or work with them if that were to happen, and during this time, during recounts and all of that?
Well, Aaron, let's see what it is before we decide how to deal with it. It could be 31-31, or the Democrats could have the majority, or the Republicans could have the majority. So right now, let them count the votes. We want to make sure we know who won these elections first, and then we'll deal with it, whatever it is.
Now, about talent, some of the people, Mr. Cuomo over here, are out of a job after the election, and some of the people were meeting with you. Have you gotten any ideas, and anybody over here in this room, are you thinking about that specific person to be part of your administration?
On which side of the camera? On my side of the camera?
On your side of the camera. We have very good jobs. Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
Okay. Those are the conversations that we're going to be having, and we'll have announcements at the appropriate time.
Will you discuss with Mr. Ortiz and others the importance of having more Latino people in the senior ranks of the Assembly, perhaps?
We did not discuss that.
Some members of the Assembly are trying to read you for signals as to whether you want to work with different leadership, specifically a different speaker. What signals, if any, do you intend to send them?
You know, I'm not a big signal sender. I tend to say what I think, and I tend to mean what I say. I'm looking forward to working with the leadership of the Assembly. I've been saying that throughout the campaign. I'm looking forward to working with the leadership of the Senate as soon as we determine who the leadership of the Senate is at the end of when they count all the votes. We know the issues. People know my positions. I've said all through the campaign, I laid it out very clearly. I said, here's my platform, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what I intend to do, and that's what I said to the people of the state, and I'm going to follow through on that. And I look forward to working with the leadership on that agenda and to execute that agenda. I think I've been clear about that from day one.
One more,
On
guys.
that note, do you support John Sampson staying on as leader of Senate Democrats, whether that's in the minority or the majority?
You know, Aaron, that's not my job. My job is not to say who should be the legislative leader of the respective houses. They make that decision, and that's the way it should be, and I'll leave it to them.
Going back to the Senate situation real quick, has your team discussed what Lieutenant Governor-elect Duffy's role would be if there was a tie, if he could break ties, what procedural means, interpretation of that?
Well, I don't want to get into the legal technicalities of it, but the lieutenant governor would be a tie-breaking vote in leadership selection, if it came to that. But let's count the votes first, let's find out who won first, and then we'll figure out a strategy to deal with it.
So going back to the assembly, Mr. Cuomo, there was a story in the New York Post. Some assembly members were plotting maybe on your behalf to topple Sheldon Silver. Would you tell them to stop doing that?
I read that Sheldon Silver, in the paper today, I read Sheldon Silver to be saying that he was basically supporting the no new taxes, which I've been talking about. So I welcome that, you know. I've been saying that all through the campaign. We have to close the deficit. Now it's estimated to be about $9 billion. We have to close the deficit. We have to redesign the programs to make sure we're still providing services to people who need services, but we need to do it with no new taxes. And to the extent today's article suggests that Sheldon Silver supports that position, that's great. It's what I've been talking about for months. I welcome his support, and I welcome the support of the Assembly.
Have you had any conversations with him about ethics reform, property tax cap, recently since you've been?
The nice thing here, Erin, is you know my position. It's in black and white. It's been written down. It's been publicized all across the state. That is my position. That is not going to change. And I'm going to go to the Assembly and the Senate with my agenda, and I'm going to say, please pass this agenda. So there is no secret about what my plans are. I didn't want there to be any secrets. I wanted to be very clear in this election. I wanted everyone to know exactly what they were getting when they pulled the lever for Andrew Cuomo or filled in the circle in this particular campaign. I wanted them to know exactly what my positions were and what they were going to get. And that's what they are going to get. Now, what the Assembly and the Senate do in relation to my proposals, that we're going to have to wait and see.
How are you going to cut the education budget?
Well, we're going to have to find the same way every family, every business has had to struggle through this economic recalibration. Government is going to have to go through the same economic recalibration. And you're going to have to find better ways to provide the services. And the answer can't always be more money, more money, more money. And by the way, that was never the answer anyway.
And with
How do you have the
education in
number
particular?
one, how do you have the highest education spending in the state of New York, and you're number 40 in terms of performance? That means it's not about the money, because you're spending more than anyone else. But you're not getting the performance, you're not getting the product. And this was supposed to be about the children, and educating the children, and making sure your children have the best education you can get them. And we're not doing that anyway. So it was never about the money.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Then your tie?